Our match referee is Martin Boddenham from Cornwall. Blackburn to kick off on a pitch which is very much on the soft side. Alan Wright at left back sends the ball long, and Ian Walker comes out and collects. The referee actually finding it a bit slippery underfoot himself, losing his balance, Andy.
He did very early on. Should have checked his studs before he went to kick that out, Martin.
Tottenham with just 2 defeats in those 14 games under Jerry Francis since they were beaten at Blackburn just before the new manager was appointed.
I think what you'll find Tottenham are at the back is very respectful of the two strikers they're playing against. They'll try to keep the space between full-backs and the centre-backs to a premium, because that's an area that both Shearer and Sutton do like to run into.
Blackburn won both Premiership visits here in the past, but they lost in the League Cup last season, and that was the last full match for Bobby Mims in goal. But of course, he had some 88 minutes and performed excellently on Wednesday against Leeds United when Tim Flowers was sent off. Remember, Flowers is injured today. The suspension comes later. Barmby. That's good defending in midfield from Tim Sherwood. Ripley. They'll be very pleased to have him in full working order. Sheringham trying to thread it through for Klinsmann.
He's a little bit unlucky, David Howells. I think he's claiming that, and I thought quite rightly, that there was very little he could do. The handball's been given against him, but I think he felt he was only closing down Ian Pearce's clearance and no real intent. The ball struck the hand. I agreed with him.
Howells, who was brought back actually by Steve Perryman for that match at Blackburn in November, has been a very important part of the organisation under Jerry Francis. But here's Sherwood. Sutton, it's a good turn. There's very little room to get the shot in.
That was super play, super individual skill from Chris Sutton. But Tim Sherwood's really involved in this match with a lovely run forward, linking up. Now just watch this. Tempts Sol Campbell, thinking he's going to shoot, creates a yard, half a yard. I tell you what, he's not far away from finding the target with that.
Well, there's an England squad to be announced shortly, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if Tim Sherwood's name would be in it. Played very well for the B team before Christmas. Of course, has been conspicuous in the march of Blackburn Rovers. Oh, Tottenham had strong appeals for a foul by Hendry there, not given. Martin Boddenham is known amongst referees as one who does try to give the game every chance. He's not what you would call a hard liner. Sherwood again, tricking Howells. Warhurst, another central midfield man today. Mark Atkins has been dropped to the bench. Henry's first touch wasn't very good. Campbell.
I think defenders will have to be careful early on. You mentioned it, the surface, Martin. It is a bit heavy, it is a bit slippy, and certainly early on in the game you don't want to be taking too many chances.
It looks a loose top, the divots coming up very easily. All won by Berg. Popescu, the Romanian. Klinsmann, the German. Anderton of England. What a versatile player Sol Campbell's turning out to be. I mentioned that League Cup win for Tottenham against Blackburn last season. Campbell got the winning goal as a striker. Further forward in this game, Anderton's caught offside.
Well, Alan Wright, first of all, delivered a poor pass, but he was so alive. And you look, he takes a chance there. He knows that he can't get to Darren Anderton, and he just steps up right in front of the linesman's nose, and up goes the flag. So he made amends after that poor pass inside.
Shearer, who played like two men against Leeds. He needed to, he was up front on his own. Nethercott's leaving the throw for Wright. Shearer, Warhurst can hit it first time, and it was rather badly scuffed in. Walker's decided to pursue, thinking that Chris Sutton would have kept the ball in play and kept the pressure on the Tottenham goal. Klinsmann. Ian Pearce is holding down a place at the back for Blackburn alongside Hendry. Warhurst first to reach the header from Mabbutt. Wilcox. Shearer. David Howells doing that defensive shielding work so well again. And then trying to dispossess Hendry further forward. Blackburn, remember, with a chance to increase their lead at the top to 5 points, with Manchester United having won somewhat fortunately, it seemed, beating Aston Villa yesterday.
But the important sentence there, and he'll know that, is that they won. But I was a little bit disappointed with them, certainly in the first half against Manchester United at Old Trafford a couple of weeks ago. But I do think they've started this game much brighter.
Alan Shearer, incidentally, is the all-time leading scorer in the Premier League with 71 goals, and second Matt Letizia with 53. And we're talking 2.5 seasons, aren't we? And half the season was missed by Shearer with that knee injury. Klinsmann has certainly settled very quickly to the type of game that's required in this country. Hoping to fasten on to the ball as it dropped then after the challenge by Sheringham. Would have been a potential shooting position for him. Scuffed away for the corner. There's a real feel-good factor around Tottenham these days, and they'll feel even better, the home fans, if there can be an early breakthrough here. Howells blocked well by Ripley. So good at Blackburn at that type of defending. Edinburgh come all the way across to Anderton, trying to perhaps tee up Popescu. The ball came behind him. Looking to conjure something else up here. Barmby! The flag is up.
Lovely football.
Sheringham came in to try and reach the header.
Well, there's no doubt Terry Sheringham was offside. But what went before it was lovely stuff. 1-2, look at Anderton's pass with the outside of the right foot. You can see there, Sheringham clearly offside. And I just wonder, had Barmby known that, would he have taken Anderton's pass on his chest? Had he realised Sheringham was in that offside position? May just have been a little bit high for him.
Edinburgh clipping Ripley, it was a clever turn. Free kick to Blackburn. Just a little word of warning from the referee to Justin Edinburgh. Edinburgh just waiting for Colin Hendry to arrive, and then thinking better of the straightforward ball in. Crosses now the Norwegian. Sensible work from Anderton. A bit of confusion there. Campbell not feeling that he could get to the ball. The defenders will not get away with too many moments of hesitation, you feel, in this game. There's so many fine forwards on the pitch.
Well, the forwards are all great. That's the thing. They're all waiting to pounce on any slight error. And that's what makes all four of them special.
Pierce took his eye off the ball. Right, just has to chase back. Lovely hold-up play from Shearer. Not easy. Still not allowed to settle, really, with the attentions of Calderwood.
He did well, Calderwood. A lot of times you find that centre-backs, they get to a certain part of the pitch and they disengage. They just back off the striker. But Calder was having none of it. He had him where he wanted him, backing towards his own goal, and stayed totally with him.
And also didn't give away an unnecessary free kick, which is the other problem of defenders. And nibbling away from behind. There's a boot raised by Warhurst, dangerous play. Jürgen Klinsmann was voted Tottenham's player of 1994 by the supporters, which in itself suggests that the first part of the year, when Klinsmann wasn't here, wasn't particularly productive.
I was going to say, that's a hell of a decision, that, isn't it?
Pressure applied by Sherwood, and Blackburn get the throw. He's a naturally strong character, Tim Sherwood, as you'd expect, with a captain's armband on. He knows the ins and outs of the midfield minefield. Not nicknamed Slippery for nothing. But Barmby's away from it. Sheringham's pass. Bobby Mims comes. He'll be pleased with that piece of work, the former Tottenham goalkeeper, recalled by Blackburn today to a starting position in the game. Down goes Mabbutt, pressed by Sutton, free kick against Sutton. Andy, you know a bit about Bobby Mims from your own playing days?
Yeah, he's a strong character, Bobby. I agree with Ray Clements in saying that. And certainly coming here, I think it's a game he would absolutely relish coming back to Tottenham. I don't think they'll have any fears about putting Bobby in when they lose a goal. They lose a goalkeeper like Tim Flowers. To be able to call on somebody of this quality, of this experience, well, Kenny wouldn't have lost many hours sleep thinking about it.
Had almost 3 years as a Tottenham player. Barmby. When Popescu played it, he immediately launched himself forward, but there was no further link up for Spurs. Calderwood. Searching out Sheringham. Barmby joining in again more centrally, though his starting position is wide on the left of midfield.
But it was noticeable, Martin, when the ball dropped down, the space that Nicky Barmby was in. And that was what I was talking about pre-game, is when he gets inside into that area between Blackburn's midfield and back four. There is a responsibility in either Warhurst or the skipper to get back and do something about it.
Berg. Edinburgh, who goes off to join up with Norway after this game. They're playing a couple of internationals in Cyprus next week. Torsford, incidentally, already there, on his way back to full fitness. Jerry Francis was presented with an award as the manager for January, just before the kick-off. And that's sometimes known in the game as a bit of a mixed blessing.
Yeah, you often see that when managers get presented with those awards. The game following it isn't one to remember.
Wilcox. Pierce is there. Injury, as you'd expect. Sutton helps it on. The delivery wasn't as true as Blackburn would have wanted. Klinsmann trying to get away from right. He's had to come across on the cover. Barmby has a very bright idea, typical of the young man.
It's the running off the ball that dictates so many first-time passes, I think, with this Spurs side. He had time to put his foot on it, bring it down, and go and commit people. But Anderton's run through the centre, unmarked, just tempted Nicky Barmby into the first-time pass. Look at Popescu as well. Driving up short, he just wanted it laid down in front of him.
Klinsmann. His touch wasn't actually as sure as he wanted. Barmby nearly made something of it, but here's Ripley taking the fight to Tottenham, but running out of room. Although Ripley didn't quite agree with that. Here's Blackburn's throw. Shearer. Sutton in the centre. Cross not a good one. A bit of rustiness from Ripley, perhaps. But having not made progress down the right, Blackburn switch it to the left, and Wilcox. Anderton doubling back to help Campbell. Klinsmann. Sheringham. Good tackle by Hendry. Advantage played by Martin Bottenham. There was a subsequent foul on Warhurst by Howells. Right. Fortunate ricochet perhaps for Blackburn. Particularly with Shearer attacking the cross. Barmby. Klinsmann ahead of it. Sheringham's gone to the left. It slipped through for Jurgen Klinsmann for Tottenham. And it's through Mims and Spurs lead. A sweeping Tottenham attack with the perfect finish for these fans and for him.
Well, it's an area that goalkeepers hate, driven straight at them. He makes that lovely diagonal run. I just wonder whether Colin Henry could have stood up and played him offside. I thought Henry was the boss here. I thought he would let him run and look for the offside. He didn't, and he was always struggling then, Colin Henry, to get back defensively. And when Klinsmann hit it, you hit it straight at the goalkeeper, then you hit it between his legs. You've got a real good chance of scoring.
Well, he's such a great ambassador, Jurgen Klinsmann, but sometimes we forget that he is an arch goal-getter as well. And he's really kindled the atmosphere here at White Hart Lane this afternoon. And Blackburn, the league leaders, are behind in North London. Caught out by Klinsmann and indeed by Barmby, who broke in such devastating fashion through midfield and teased the pass in. Wilcox. Sutton, chance for an equaliser, chance wasted.
Oh, that's a good chance. That is a really good chance. Sutton just pulls at the back. He knows that Edinburgh's missing this, and he drops it perfectly. He couldn't have set it up better for himself. And that's not the finish that Chris Sutton would have wanted at all. But it was a sweeping move, Mark. You're right, they broke from defence very quickly, straight through the middle, and it looked as if Blackburn might take the lead.
That was Shearer. Berg. Here's Pearce. Sheringham starting the defending well forward for Spurs. For Barmby, who's just put his name to this new 5-year contract. And everyone connected with Tottenham absolutely thrilled with his decision. There was talk earlier in the season, you might recall, of homesickness, or perhaps wanting a challenge further north, but it's North London where he's pledged his future.
Well, I think what we've got now, what we didn't have a fortnight ago at Old Trafford, is a goal in the opening 20 minutes. I always think when you get a big game and you build it up, you let down an awful lot when you don't get a goal early. I think things that make games are goals in the opening 20 minutes. We have that now, and don't be surprised if this game really takes off.
I think, to be fair to Blackburn, Andy, even before the goal, we've seen more evidence of a purposeful attacking sense from them than we did at Old Trafford, but they've been caught out here.
Well, right before the goal, Mark, this is where they maybe get a little bit of luck. Look at Shearer's header. He's so frustrated because he heads that accurately towards goal. It comes off Gary Mabbutt's head, drops to Anderton, and look at that. 3 passes later, they're right at the heart of the Blackburn defence. Another one slipped through, and from, well, thinking they were a goal up when the ball left Shearer's head, 10 seconds later, they're 1 down.
Well, that is an absolutely super goal. We talk about different types of goals of the season, but passing is sometimes neglected for the spectacular shot. Terrific team play from Tottenham Hotspur. Here's Howells. Blackburn caught up in the ebb and flow of the contest. Shearer. Spurned a possible shooting opportunity to use Ripley. He delivers a cross that's not quite deep enough. Sutton was coming in on it.
That's the most frustrating thing in the world. When your winger does everything right, and he gets to the byline, you've got to stand the ball up. Invariably, a defender will come near post. Stuart Ripley didn't do that. He hit Calderwood in the near post.
Berg. The header first from Campbell, then from Barmby, then from Sheringham. Sherwood. Oh, Klinsmann playing his part, tucking back in, but they passed the ball round him. Right. As you can see, even on the left side, Barmby always favouring the right foot, which in turn encourages him to join in more centrally, which is where he was, and he moved on and picked the right pass for Klinsmann. But Sutton's headed down. Shearer turning. Oh, and Walker got something on it. There was a deflection, first of all, from Mabbutt. And then the legs of Ian Walker did enough to stop Blackburn equalising.
Well, that's when you talk about a goalkeeper spreading himself. Mabbutt does half the job, but look at that. He just spreads himself, makes himself a big target. He doesn't care. Legs, hands, body, doesn't matter when you're a goalkeeper.
Sherwood. Right. There's a break on here if they get it back, Tottenham. They didn't cleanly, despite the efforts of Darren Anderton. Klinsmann. They've got something to waltz around the referee. Wanting some work off the ball from someone. Alan Wright was keen to provide it. Pass too far ahead of him. It's a rather hopeful chase from Barmby. But a goalkeeper who's been out of action Wednesday accepted for a long time. Always worth applying that sort of pressure. Sheringham. Anderton, two to his right. Anderton, Sheringham, it's just behind Klinsmann.
Well, there's an example, though, Martin, of them not overcommitting. Invariably under Aussie, they would have had 3, 4, 5 players there. At that time, they've got the goal, they're taking stock now, they're not giving anything away stupidly.
Well, the famous 5 perhaps reduced to the fabulous 4.
I think that's fair.
And really Blackburn having to be right on their mettle here to stop the game disappearing from them in the first half. Culture aplenty from the team managed by Jerry Francis. Foul throw, though, by Campbell. Manager disappointed, but he'd be delighted with the way Tottenham took the lead.
And we always talk about goalkeepers, stay big, stand up as long as you can. The problem happens, Martin, when you do stand up, is that you can't have it drilled right between your legs, and there's nothing a goalkeeper can do about that.
Absolute bullseye from Jurgen Klinsmann. Here's Barmby. Pearce saw it coming. Lovely turn from Warhurst. Wilcox. Ripley's come across. Calderwood stepped in. Sherwood. They're caught again, and it's a similar situation for Barmby. Klinsmann wider this time, but Teddy Sheringham arriving. Excellent defending by Alan Wright, although he's got to regroup now. With Bird to help him, and it just rolls behind. And Barmby couldn't quite fathom out the right conclusion that time, but once more, the speed of the counter-attack.
I mean, Tim Sherwood's got an opportunity to change play because Henningberg is completely free, because Nicky Barmby's where he is now. He's picked up the ball. He's put a little bit wide at Klinsmann, but he knows that Sheringham is lurking in the middle, and it really did take a good interception from Alan Wright. But they can't afford to lose the ball, Blackburn, in the midfield area like that, because as soon as they do, then forward runners are in motion from Tottenham, and they're really causing problems.
Anderton. Did well to get the cross in. Well, Sutton often to be found in midfield for Blackburn when things aren't going well. That's where you see him at the moment. Wilcox. A little bit of a surprising statistic. Berg. Helped on by Shearer. Sutton. Sheringham making something of very little. Klinsmann just found the ball a little short to take it cleanly away from Sherwood.
Just talking about that possession stat, man, I think it's a good one, because I do think that Blackburn have enjoyed the lion's share of the possession. But what we are seeing is good, solid, organised defensive work for Tottenham, and when they get the ball, their attacks have had a zip about them and a real threat.
Well, that's borne out by that fact. 101 for Spurs so far. Anderton, it's deflected, it's 2 out of 2. Unlucky for Mims. Delight for Darren Anderton.
Well, I feel for Bobby Mims. First goal he can do nothing about. That's a real weak area for goalkeepers. And this one, he's got absolutely no chance. But again, look at the movement. That's what creates the opportunity. Colin Henry does what Gary Mabbutt did a little bit earlier. But whereas Ian Walker got a leg to that one, Bobby Mims going to his right, can't get back across, and it sneaks into the left-hand post.
Well, half an hour gone here. Blackburn Rovers beaten only 3 times in the Premiership so far this season. They're 2-0 down at White Hart Lane. And Colin Henry seeing that ball divert so significantly and beyond the redress of Mims. Sherwood.
It's amazing, this game. He's been in it a lot longer than I have, Martin, and it never ceases to amaze you. He'd be pretty pleased with the opening half hour, his general performance of his team. And then he'll look back and think they've had 2 shots at goal, Tottenham, and we're 2-0 down. Amazing game.
But only 2 shots is a little bit harsh in terms of a judgment on the quality of Tottenham's passing and the way they've probed at Blackburn. It hasn't been a case of smash and grab.
No, there was a healthy respect early on, and I think you sensed that in the opening 5 or 10 minutes. People are a little bit wary to try things, push men forward and be adventurous. But it's amazing, the goal, suddenly that goes. And now we have a real test for the team looking to become champions this year, Blackburn Rovers.
Sheringham, deflected off Klinsmann. That was another lucky break, it seemed, for Spurs for a moment. Ripley, nervously giving it away. Every game that Blackburn play, such expectation on the players. And they have to live with life very much in the spotlight. It's a test of their temperament here as well as their talent. What will encourage them is that they have made chances. Sutton's missed a good one.
But there isn't an awful lot you can do about things like this. Colin Henry goes to close him down. He thinks, well, I've done my bit, maybe taking the pace off the shot. And all he did was help it past a stranded goalkeeper.
Well, in a cup competition, that can make the difference between success and failure. In the league, you hope that it evens it out over the 42 games. Well, now as Blackburn redouble their efforts, you sense a real examination of just how well Tottenham have learnt to defend under Jerry Francis. A manager who is very much a coach as well. I think it's fair to say that Jerry Francis really deep down in the bottom of his heart didn't want to leave Queen's Park Rangers, but he's a man of principle. He left on a point of principle, and it's been very much to the gain of Tottenham Hotspur.
I think it would also be fair to say that Jerry Francis is a man who always had ambitions of managing a really big club as well, and he has that stage now.
Made it his. So too did Howells. Anderton. Sheringham's peeled away to the right. Anderton. Petrie and Wright combining to do the defending. There's Sutton deep again.
Sutton's deep in amongst the midfield players, and yet Tottenham have got 3 against 1 against Alan Shearer. Again, a little mark of respect for the players that they're playing against.
Cross by Berg. That's Calderwood. Shearer suddenly found a bit of space again. Mabbutt trying to press him. Blocks the cross. Clearance is good. Klinsmann not panicking. The runner from midfield is Popescu. Anderton outside in the pass has just made him put on the brakes a moment. Anderton shoots and Mims parries this time. No deflection. Well, it made the save possible. That
one piece of action has been the story of the first half. Blackburn pressing, but when they lose possession, whether it be in midfield or even as they did then in Tottenham's penalty area, the break from Tottenham is positive and incisive and invariably ends up with something positive happening.
Sheringham, who scored from that type of corner this season at that end of the ground. Klinsmann. Sheringham's there again. Blackburn with enough players around to cope. Warhurst. Wilcox. So switch to the right-hand side. To no avail. Barmby. Warhurst. Wilcox. Well, through midfield, their game's been pretty sound, but when it's come to setting the sights and striking at goal, they've been short.
It was a little unlucky there. That did set up rather horribly for him in a pretty bad piece of ground. They had the option to go wide to Stuart Ripley, who was in a lot of space.
Sheringham did well to get in front of Hendry. Klinsmann. Good work by Mims. It's one over the top for Shearer to chase, for Walker to read and give further evidence of his growing maturity.
Yeah, the conditions helped that. Just skipped through when it landed.
From one goalkeeper to the other.
I think that's another thing that Jerry's added to this Tottenham side. They're a little bit more direct. In fact, they're a lot more direct than they were under Ozzy. They're quite prepared to go long initially and then play off the front two.
Well, if you talk to Jerry about his methods, pattern of play is an expression he uses all the time, to work so that everyone knows what's expected of them. And the midfield men had to defend, and Anderton did just that. Sheringham. Barmby coming in off the left-hand side again. Oh, and the slip by Pearce. Sheringham. Barmby. Oh, there was no flag.
Kenny Sheringham held his head in his hands, and I think he'll probably be surprised that he played it too far. I thought he was going to pull the trigger there, but the pass is on, and it's just fractionally too much weight on it. And Teddy Sheringham was really disappointed with that. But again, you see the difference in the attacks, Martin. It's just a little bit more zip about the Tottenham attack when it's in motion.
Berg. Well, Campbell decided to go forward then, and the pass wasn't quite good enough to match his intentions. Maybe it was over-optimistic. No harm done. Live football for you on Sky Sports from the FA Cup, sponsored this season by Littlewood Pools. A fourth-round replay at Molineux. Guaranteed full house. Wolves had an indifferent result yesterday, didn't they? At Sheffield Wednesday, perhaps back on song, having beaten Arsenal. We shall see what the outcome will be. It has to be played to a finish, of course. Join us on Wednesday. Berg. Anderton again trying to break up the Blackburn momentum. Shearer, normally so strong, shrugged aside. They're so proud of their traditions, Tottenham Hotspur, that if they're going to be successful, they demand really the fans that success should be stylish and sophisticated. It's pretty hard to guarantee these days. But we feel that the roots have been planted here. Certainly it's been a blooming first half with a 2-0 lead over the league leaders themselves, Blackburn Rovers. Wilcox. First half that's made pretty happy viewing for the red section of Manchester. Berg, it's the moment to assess. Ripley's cross. Warhurst settles. He thought for a moment perhaps for a corner, perhaps he didn't. There was no appeal. It certainly looked as though it came off Shearer.
I just think he couldn't reach it. It's a decent ball in, and Warhurst just pulls on the back, but just too much. You see, again, as it hits the ground, it's away from him, and he knows he can't get there.
Howells. Klinsmann. Anderton. Goalkeeper's come. And decided in the end to just tow it away for the throw. Campbell. Well, the Blackburn players were celebrating a wedding earlier in the week when Chris Sutton got married on Tuesday. We're in the midst of a wake here. An unusual experience for them of being 2 goals adrift.
That wouldn't have happened often this year, would it? Perhaps on the Manchester United at Ewood Park. Can't think of many others when they've been 2 down, or a difference of 2 in the score.
The defeat at Norwich was 2-1, of course, after Sutton had given Blackburn the lead. Warhurst. But with the calibre that Blackburn have, they could get a foothold into the game with 1 goal. We then really see just how much Tottenham have developed.
I think there's plenty in the game still for Blackburn. I don't think they're out of it by any stretch of the imagination. They would like one before half-time, that's an obvious statement. But I think they can go in at half-time still thinking there's something in the game for them.
Warhurst.
Again, it's ambitious, and again, I thought he just needed to spread the ball wide. It wasn't a shot that impressed his manager. But Berg made a very good run. As the ball comes to Warhurst here now, if he comes right, If he just keeps it going right, Henningberg's an acre of space to put in a cross from a good angle to two strikers who like that sort of delivery in.
Wilcox. Calderwood saw that coming. Colin Calderwood, who could easily left the club in the summer. There was talk of a move to Celtic. He's glad he stayed. Wilcox. Sherwood, half-time. Great first half for Tottenham. Jurgen Klinsmann with his 19th goal of the season. A terrific Tottenham move. A touch of fortune about the second. Anderton shot flying in past the hapless Bobby Mims off Colin Hendry. Blackburn with so much to do in the second half. They're 2-0 down at White Hart Lane. Thanks, Richard. Well, referees have often got too many headlines this season, certainly for their own liking, and here we've got a referee who managed to slip a yellow card surreptitiously to David Howells in the first half. Martin Bodnam, who's kept control in a very unfussy manner. Blackburn, incidentally, came here for their 27th league game last season. They won it 2-0, now they're 2-0 down. Then they were 13 points behind Manchester United, so even if they don't mount a second half recovery today, they're still in much better shape, guaranteed to stay top of the table, of course, than they were a year ago. Hendry. Dalglish has had his say, and probably ruining the rub of the green. Terry Francis has been famed in recent weeks for the ferocity of his half-time talks. Remember, they were behind at West Ham, not doing very well at Sunderland, but he must have been pretty pleased with the way his starting 11 put on their first half show. Flow to the football. 2 goals safely banked against a team which rarely concedes too many, Blackburn Rovers. So, Rovers looking for a road to recovery. For Ripley, they've got a corner. Pearce made the first move. The corner wasn't crisp enough for him. Headed back by Sherwood. Sutton will get there. Walker starting to come, has checked and gone back. Sutton's cross. Shearer. Sherwood! Great start to the second half for Blackburn Rovers. Tim Sherwood shows the way.
Well, they went a little bit to sleep when the ball was taken back in from the corner. Just here, Mark, because they're all a little bit slow to react, looking for offside. Don't think there were any signs of that, but doesn't Chris Sutton do well? Drags it wide of Howells and then stands it up. But look at Shearer, picks out Sherwood beautifully. Alan Shearer isn't going for goal here. I think he knows he can't score, so he knocks it down for his captain. Oh, and Tim Sherwood, who I think's been getting forward a lot more this season and doing it rather well, really plays the captain's part. This is set up now.
Anderton. Here's Campbell. hangs on. Had to.
Good strike, Sol Campbell. Really good. Unfortunately for him, as he tucks inside, and again, people are slipping, and that's causing openings. But unfortunately for Sol Campbell, it's straight at Bobby Mims. Well, it's a neutral, and there are plenty watching, Martin. They couldn't have asked for a better start, I think, for the game than we've had to the second half.
A test of Tottenham's new defensive tenacity. Conceding goals, a major problem at the start of the season, a real rarity in recent games. But Blackburn finally finding some end product to the way they've probed away at Walker's goal. Hendry. Blackburn really with a bit between their teeth. Shearer. Walker wasn't sure. Wasn't the best shot that Alan Shearer's ever struck.
I always think it's dangerous to get too close to Shearer in this position, because he does that, he rolls you. He knows that the defenders are very tight, and he just uses the body. But here's what he does very well at the back post. Sherwood just drifts into the middle. I think it's alarming how much space Tim Sherwood has got. But Alan Shearer picked him out beautifully. And the half volley, well, gave the goalkeeper no chance.
Howells. Rolls off Sheringham. Ripley. Edinburgh slips. Ripley's past it. Sutton running away from him, and Shearer leaving the space for Ripley to use. Bounces off Mabbutt, and it's another corner for Blackburn. A really satisfying start to the second half for the visiting team.
They can relax a bit, Martin. That's what they can do, Blackburn. Although they want to keep the tempo up, they've struck very early. Shearer.
No foul on the goalkeeper. Walker came but didn't conquer.
Well, I'm absolutely amazed that Alan Shearer's the only one challenging there. He made life very difficult for the goalkeeper that was allowed to drop into the 6-yard box, and not a Blackburn player in sight.
Klinsmann. Sheringham gets past Pearce. Promising this for Tottenham. Klinsmann just forced a little bit wide by the power in the pass. Still Klinsmann. Mims does very well indeed to make that stick.
Good take. But good movement again from both Barmby and Klinsmann. And it was only the extra weight in the pass from Sheringham that forced Klinsmann wider than he really wanted to go.
Back come Blackburn. Warhurst. This is Henning Berg. Ripley's outside him. Berg tries the shot himself.
That was a move for me, Martin, that they didn't do enough in the first half. I think that's on. Because Tottenham with Barmby, no one naturally on that left side. I think when they can suck Tottenham into this near side and give Henning Berg a little bit of licence, a little bit of free rein to go forward, they can drop that type of ball into him. I think most of the second half if they want.
Long ball from right. And there's a sign of the stress on Spurs. Edinburgh's header aimed for the goalkeeper concedes the corner.
Well, strangely enough, it's little things like that that do change games. Misplaced header that you believe in the first half he'd have just confidently knocked it back straight to Ian Walker.
Walker makes that one his. Came in at a headable height.
But again, I'm surprised. It comes in at a good height, as you say, Matt. But look, there's only one really attacking it in the width of the 6-yard box, and that's Alan Shearer.
conjuring from Klinsmann. Campbell. Barmby trying to get back and sort out the defending on his part of the pitch. Klinsmann, the flag is up.
Yeah, Colin Henry, whether he's learned, but that's the type of thing I expected him to do on the goal, Martin. Exactly what he does here. You see, Klinsmann makes the same sort of run, but this time the brakes go on. He's a half a yard ahead of Henry. He knows he can't get there. I think he's a little bit fortunate he got the offside. But that's what I fully expected him to do on the opening goal.
Shearer. Wilcox coming in. This is where Blackburn have just got to be careful. Temptation to chase now really for the equaliser. We've already seen the cutting edge on the counter-attack from the home side. Sherwood.
I think you're right. I think that is the real danger, that they overcommit Blackburn in the second half. But I think the early goal will mean that they can have a more composed look at this second half and not throw too many men forward recklessly.
Guided down by Sutton. Shearer couldn't control it. Wilcox trying to make it happen for Blackburn. Walker snatches it from his toes. There's a worry for Blackburn. Stuart Ripley is limping a little.
Yeah, it looks a little bit uncomfortable.
No complaints from Klinsmann. There might be some here from Shearer. Crowd unhappy with two what they regarded as rather similar incidents. One penalised against Tottenham. One could have gone a moment earlier in their favour. Very solidly met in the jump by Popescu, back by Berg. Sutton glancing. Campbell clearing. Warhurst. Well, it's sat up invitingly.
That's ambitious. I think that's just giving the ball away. As I say, they don't have to chase a game this early. I think the little smile says it all. Well, that was very, very ambitious from Paul Warhurst.
There was a time, of course, when he was playing as a striker for Sheffield Wednesday, that those sort of shots were flying in. Maybe that just crossed his mind. Klinsmann there with Pearce in a spot of bother. Certainly a big examination for the young defender Ian Pearce, who's keeping out the likes of Tony Gale. Another option, of course, coming Dalglish, not using and playing Warhurst at the back. Sheringham did well. Barmby, so bright. Anderton goes past Pearce. Free in the centre for Tottenham. It's Jurgen Klinsmann. It's a corner.
Well, there's another example of this quick, incisive break. I didn't think Klinsmann just catches it the way he would have liked. Seems to hang in the air, just gets him on the toe a little bit. But Bobby Mims still has to make a good save. And when it catches him on the toe rather than the instep, just takes a little bit of the pace off it.
Darren Anderton, a splendid server at the set pieces. Sherwood. There's Calderwood in there. Sherwood again. It really is a contest now to set the pulses racing. Campbell. Sheringham did well to force the header on, jumping with Warhurst. The effort took its toll, rather. Klinsmann, who radiates such optimism with his play. He might not be the most technically gifted player. Anderton. That effort, incidentally, the over-the-shoulder shot, very reminiscent of the goal he got here right at the start of the season against Everton. Well, Tottenham looking to hit back. Second half hasn't gone according to plan.
It's about the first period of sustained pressure they've had second half.
That's Howells. Did well to spot the pass, let alone execute it. Anderton. Good work at the back post for Blackburn by Berg. Anderton, offside. Teddy Sheringham.
Well, I think Teddy asked him one or two questions there. I think they hold the line again. You see as Darren Anderton just tucks it over his shoulder there. I think you can see quite clearly. The decision's a good one.
Right. Barmby, not wasting the ball again. Sheringham, with control under pressure. Anderton, four supporting him in the centre. Two trying to stop him crossing. Keeps it short. Sheringham just checking off the pace to receive. Comes off the head of Warhurst. Ripley, we'll just see how well he can move here. Limping a minute or two ago. Show. For Ripley. Campbell muscles him out of it. Anderton, lovely change of direction. Cross comes Pearce. And blocks well. It's a pass that could have really hurt Blackburn too towards Klinsmann. Warhurst. Hooked away from Klinsmann, who's been caught by Warhurst. Tottenham actually kept the ball. Martin Bodman was quite prepared to let the game go on.
The referee's a little bit unfortunate in respect that he knows it was a free kick, but like he's done for most of the game, he's quite prepared to have a little look, and if the teams retain possession, which Tottenham did, he's quite prepared to let the play go. I think he's had an exceptional the referee, I really do. I think he's added to the enjoyment of the game. He's let it flow, he's tried to keep the game going. Very few stoppages, and I think that's what he's just explaining. I know it was a free kick, but you had possession. I don't think anyone would argue with that.
Mike Newell is to replace Stuart Ripley. I think we saw the way Ripley was rather shrugged aside easily by Campbell a moment or two ago. But he's not in full working order. One hopes for Blackburn it's not a recurrence of the ankle injury. Might be a setback when you damage the same part of the body a second time so shortly after the first. A recovery for Klinsmann though. How I work it here because Mike Newell isn't a natural replacement for Ripley. Wide on the right. Glances it on.
I think how they're going to try and work it, Martin. They've gone a little bit narrow in the midfield now. Wilcox, Sherwood and Warhurst. They seem to be trying to get Mike Newell in between that midfield and the front two. Playing in the hole, so to speak. And And I think that'll be a job for David Howells. If you're Tottenham, you're looking from the bench, you'll be marking David Howells' card pretty quickly. Mike Newell's in your territory, you look after him.
Corner. Spurs trying to resurrect the 2-goal lead. Calderwood going in right on the line. Mabbutt there as well, just backing off to the edge of the goal area. Klinsmann climbing. It's another corner. Calderwood tying himself in knots.
Not quite mastered it the way Klinsmann did. Keep practicing, Colin.
Newell got to it first. Back by Barmby through the crowd.
Lovely strike.
Goes right. Wilcox. Popescu, who was pressed by Newell. Campbell. Fine touch on the ball, and Spurs though rather getting bogged down for a moment. Sutton. Shearer. For Warhurst to hit first time, but he'd have preferred the ball to be rolled a little more in front of him.
Everything had to be done very quickly, Martin. That didn't help them. Didn't help their cause, because David Howells makes it possible here with his closing down, and he really does very well with regards to Paul Warhurst. He assesses the situation and gets across and throws himself in front of Warhurst. And had Warhurst kept his shot down, I'm sure it would have struck David Howells. And I think Warhurst was conscious of that.
Well, whether the crowd played a part, only Bobby Mims will tell you, but certainly the kick wasn't what the goalkeeper wanted. It's a great acoustic ground now, White Hart Lane, with the new development. Marvellous atmosphere here, compelling game. Right, Wilcox hit Sutton, offside. The flag went up, and the deflections that helped Tottenham in the first half, not helping Blackburn here. The sellout at Spurs, the capacity of course will be increased when the South Stand top section is open for business. Won't be too long. Sutton. And the force it to Warhurst. Walker telling Edinburgh that he didn't want the back pass. Just a little contribution there from Sheringham, but by getting across, stopping Blackburn, settling and coming straight back. Shearer. Shearer asked to compete again. This time Walker was ready to take it from Edinburgh, just as well he was ready too.
He was a little on his heels, Chris Sutton, to this. I think Alan Shearer's only got one option. You see Sutton, he pulls short this time. So he's a little bit on his heels. Just felt he should have been gambling on the header initially.
Anderton, all central, but that suited Blackburn in the end. Wilcox. Blackburn 2-1 down. Sheringham. There's a spread to the play here. Barmby. Remember, Blackburn had a very sapping match in midweek. They played all but the first couple of minutes with 10 men. Have to find some extra fuel in the tank at White Hart Lane. And the prospects for a comeback considerably better than they were at half-time. Sherwood striking within 2 minutes of the second half. Newell. Anderton took 2 out with a turn. Pierce keeping a beady eye on Klinsmann. There's a miss kick by Wilcox. Popescu's away. Sheringham has a great run outside him. Flies off Berg for the corner. There's terrific appreciation off the ball in this Tottenham team. You have to say Jerry Francis has inherited here a very talented group of players.
Oh, I think that's a certainty. He must have walked into that dressing room and thought, I can't wait to get to work with these lads. They're all very intelligent, they're all very good forward-going players, and the movement's excellent.
Anderton's corner. Henry's header. Barmby trying to volley it back, blocked by Warhurst. Edinburgh hoisting it up. Mims started to be interested in it, wanted to leave it in the end to Mike Newell. A problem or two here against Anderton. Martin Bodnam only 5 yards away, saw nothing wrong, despite the Spurs contingent bellowing in his ear. And here's Chris Sutton on the move. Barmby and Mabbutt between them. Snuff that one out. Hendry. Right. Flipped on by Newell. Shearer. Wilcox. Plenty of Blackburn players in the centre. Alan Wright unable to loft it over Popescu and give his teammates a chance to fight for the cross.
The game couldn't be poised at a better stage, Mark, with 20 minutes to go. Blackburn desperate for something from the game to extend the lead at the top of the Premiership. Driving forward every time they can. And Spurs always liable to produce a piece of magic.
That's Newell's effort. Asked Mike Newell before the match, have you been playing any reserve games? Really raising the subject to see how much he was in full working order. He said, too many. This is the level he wants to play at.
It's a good answer. I think Ian Walker's always in control there, always knowing that's gone over.
Sheringham. Klinsmann coming up quickly, and a bit of confusion there between Hendry and Mims. In the end, the Scotsman knocked it away, but not out of play. Anderton sorted that. His cross, Mims' catch. Not distracted by Sheringham, hurtling in. Newell. Now Wilcox just in behind the Tottenham midfield for a moment. Sutton got past Campbell, oh, and he's dragged it wide. He'd done what looked the more difficult and daunting part, and Kenny Dalglish fears the consequence of each miss.
Oh, he does the difficult part very well indeed. He turned beautifully in the first half against Sol Campbell, does it again, it creates the yard he wants, but never in control of the shot. You see here, as he turns, it's on his left side, he's a little bit stretched, he scuffs it. He scuffs across the ball.
Berg. Sutton is hoping to find Shearer with the flick. Klinsmann, and the deflected Anderton shot, responsible for the 2 goals in the first half for Tottenham. And the two trying to combine here. Edinburgh.
It's very even, Stephen, isn't it? Second half.
But a good, healthy percentage in the last third at both ends of the pitch.
Which is what we like to see.
Absolutely. Pierce. It's the sort of fight Blackburn need. Warhurst not giving that one up, making sure the throw is to his side. Fine header by Henry. Not exactly what he wanted to do. Right. Got a bit lucky. Past Anderton. Asking Wilcox to chase. Slips Campbell. 3 in the centre for Blackburn. Sherwood. Sutton. And Sherwood. Claims by both sets of players for handball. Mims picks his pass carefully. Right. Round shake perhaps with Klinsmann pursuing him. Sherwood. Warhurst. That's the area that Andy's been pointing out, where they switched the play from left to right. Blackburn, but as they did to Warhurst then, just bounced away from his attempt to line up whatever he was going to do.
Yeah, I think they can do this, Mark. You see Nicky Barmby just the left of the screen there. That's who they're trying to pick off, and they do it, and you can do it. But we often talk about the importance of a good first touch. A good first touch there sucks the defender in, and then I'm sure Paul Warhurst will be past him. But as he lunges to recover from the bad first touch, he just catches Justin Edinburgh on the left ankle.
Well, he's not counting his chickens, is it? He'd be wise not to do so. I was at the City Ground, Nottingham, yesterday when Liverpool scored in stoppage time to pick up a point on their travels. You felt that Blackburn would be quite happy to get a point to take north from here. Still a possibility. Came off Sutton, last touch, goal kick.
I think they'll feel they can still win it, Blackburn, of that I'm sure.
Time for the SAS to mount another operation. Here is Shearer, feeling Campbell at his back and turning him. Clip ball from Henningberg, Sutton fighting for it. Trying to get it up to the front two and go from there, and Sherwood in particular supporting with gusto. Warhurst looks at the referee and gets no sympathy. Shearer. Sutton, Newell, the third man in the move. At Tottenham, the club where the defence was full of holes early in the season, making it hard for Blackburn to get what they want here. Right. There's lack of size a handicap there. Not many players in the league that ball would have bounced over.
Well, it looks like any thoughts of Mike Newell playing in midfield have gone now. It's whether they've said just go straight 3 up front. It's late in the game, we need to get a goal back.
Newell, just wrong footing Sutton. Howells. It's back towards the Tottenham goal via Hendry, and now Newell. Well, he'd love to start scoring goals again. He knows his opportunities are going to be limited with Shearer and Sutton fit.
Well, David Howells really a bit carelessly gives the ball away. And from there, it just opens up a lot. You've got to back off a certain distance when you're defending like that, but Calderwood does a good job because he stands up early and he forces Newell to take the shot earlier than he would have wanted.
Klinsmann. Anderton. Another goal for Tottenham, and surely that will be that. There it is! Nick Barmby! 11 minutes to go. 3-1 to Tottenham.
Well, you can't allow Dan Anderton time to get a cross in. If you do, he'll invariably punish you. Now, Alan Wright gets back, but he doesn't get back far enough. Look at that, he's never in a position to stop the cross. Anderton picks out Barmby, and let me tell you, this is not an easy header. This is a header of great quality. It's from distance, it's against a good goalkeeper, but look at the way Nicky Barmby gets power and direction into the header and gives Mims no chance, and I think wins the game now for Tottenham Hotspur.
Free kick to Blackburn. The one thing the coaching staff at Tottenham have just been teasing rather than criticising Nick Barmby about has been an absence of goals to go with all the other vibrant aspects of his play. For that, he's got all his stocky frame behind the header and really powered it past Mims. But it could still change. You do feel that Blackburn needs something polished now from this free kick. Walker wondering what's coming his way. Shearer and Wilcox doing the deciding. And Warhurst is there as well. It is Shearer, and it fizzed through.
Good hands, good concentration. Gets a little well done from the skipper, Gary Mabbutt, and quite rightly too. Comes through the side of the wall, needs to hold on to it, and he does. Well, any little touch off Newell there. Look how close it is to just getting a deflection off Mike Newell.
Well, Newell was trying to get out of the way, and you can't blame him for that, but had he actually deflected it, he could be looking at 3-2 at the top of the screen there and not 3-1. Well, statistics don't tell you everything, but there's amazing figures. 18 attempts at goal by Blackburn, but only 4 on target.
I think
Tottenham
that tells you everything.
Found the range.
I think Tottenham were 8 shots, 7 on target. I mean, that's a tremendous ratio of goals to get on target from 8. It really is.
7 out of 8 and 3 goals from 7.
You take that every week.
Not enough. Barmby just caught there, and Shearer moves away here. Alan Shearer. Oh! We're dealing with such fine margins here, and that's the frustration for Shearer, Kenny Dalglish, and everyone who roots for Blackburn Rovers.
Well, you get days, Martin, you really do. The crucial deflection in the first half that gave them a 2-0 lead, and then when you're striving to get back into the game, and your top man hits one as well as you would like to, beats the goalkeeper, crashes off the inside of the post, could easily go in, but what does it do? Comes flying out.
Leaving the post shuddering. Wilcox is down. Martin Bodnam has a good look. And now the ball is out. Well, defeat here, and it's looming large for Blackburn now, will be 4 points from 4 games. But that coming after a stupendous run of success. Jerry Francis is one of those managers who knows the facts and figures, and he knows the scoreline. Coming up on Wednesday night for you on Sky Sports from the FA Cup, sponsored by Littlewoods Pools. A chance for Wolves of Division 1 to dump Sheffield Wednesday out of the competition. 0-0 draw at Hillsborough was encouraging for Graham Taylor's team. Popescu. 4 forward for Tottenham. Not quite with the subtlety in the approach that time. Anderton. And he tried to reach it. He's had a very good game. Andy, you'll be thinking about the man of the match.
He's been very active. Contribution's been top class. I think the linesman gets that one a little wrong. He gives a corner, you can see that. I don't think Ian Pearce got anything on it, but Tottenham will take it. They'll run down the clock a little. They can have a breather. They can put a bit of pressure on.
The way Blackburn will feel the brakes have gone against them today, they might lose another goal from a corner that perhaps shouldn't have been given. Edinburgh. Back goes Barmby. Well, we talked about Tim Sherwood in the England squad. What about Nick Barmby, Andy?
Well, he certainly hasn't done himself any harm today. If this is the calibre of performance he's been putting in the last couple of months, then you can't fail to be impressed by it, because I've made him my man of the match. I would actually,
your squad.
I would like to have had 2 magnums to give out today, because I think Darren Anderton has ran him very close, Martin. Nothing to choose from him, but he just shades it with that wonderful header. Here we go. This just about shades it. It's an Anderton cross and a super header. It really is top class.
Jerry Francis explains why the decision was made, and on comes Stuart Nethercott. Off goes Jason Wilcox. Mark Atkins makes up the numbers for Blackburn. Sutton's fallen on the ball. Well, you're talking about awards, and mentioned in dispatches, I think, today for Martin Bodnam. Dissent.
Well, for Martin Bodnam to show someone a yellow card today, Martin, it need to be something pretty exceptional. Obviously, Chris Sutton's spoken out of turn, and that's why he's booked him. But I do think at times, yeah, when referees have performed as well as this man has today, in my opinion, it enhances the game. It's been great to do a game, and you and I have done plenty this season, and the only thing we've had to talk about the referee is how little he's been involved in the game. He's let the players get on with it, and it's been a joy.
Sherwood. Oh, Pearce is beaten by the bounce. Klinsmann. Still Klinsmann. Up with him is Sheringham. There's a case there for a penalty, you would have thought, with Colin Hendry leaning on Teddy Sheringham.
I thought a very good case. I thought Colin Henry knew he was struggling all through that piece of action and just leant all over Teddy Sheringham. Oh, this leg's going everywhere, and he slides it here, just a back heel, but from here, now watch Colin Henry. He doesn't know where the ball is, Colin. He's not making any attempt to get it, except just keep Teddy Sheringham out the way.
He got the benefit of the doubt, and just after that, Chris Sutton put up his hands and got a contact on the ball, having just been booked. A risky business these days. Lovely touch by Sheringham. Anderton. Knocked away by Mims from Klinsmann. Sherwood's goal seemed to offer so much hope to Blackburn at the start of the second half. But it's panned out the way Manchester United wanted it, not the way Kenny Dalglish wanted it. Steve Bruce saying yesterday he and the Manchester United players will be sitting and watching. And I should imagine they'll be enjoying their late afternoon cups of tea. But there is, of course, a long, long way to go. And Blackburn are still top. They haven't played at all badly. And here's Warhurst!
Well, that's off the top of the bar, isn't it? He arrives very late. And this almost tips over. Gets it up, gets it over the goalkeeper. Oh, just brushes the top of the crossbar. I think, well, when it's not your day, it's not your day. No words needed.
Stoppage time. Spurs close to celebrating here. Sherwood. Here's Sutton. Blackburn fighting right to the death. And Sutton, the brow furrowed. And I don't think the referee's going to make a major issue of a mistimed tackle this late on. But it was mistimed, it was pretty late.
I think you summed up, he's mistimed it.
So. Sheringham. Newell. Home fans want the final whistle. They've enjoyed their spectating here on Sunday.
Another little example, or more evidence to suggest that Jerry Francis' Tottenham are well on the way back.
Well, Tottenham make it tighter at the top of the table. Not today for Kenny Dalglish and company. Blackburn beaten here. 2 first-half goals. Jurgen Klinsmann got the first. Darren Anderton the second via the deflection off Colin Hendry. Tim Sherwood early in the second half. Blackburn looked back in business. But Nick Barmby, man of the match, settled the match with a splendid header 11 minutes from time. And they've been caught up here, Tottenham, in the struggle at the top of the table. They want to push on and be involved as high as Jerry Francis can take them themselves. But with regard to Manchester United and Blackburn, it's level pegging on games now, 15 to go. and the margin remains 2 points between the leaders and the champions. It's another feather in the Jerry Francis cap. How times have changed here at White Hart Lane. The season which started under such dark clouds is full of sunshine now.
Well, we've got Nick Barmby down here. Nick, congratulations. Your 8th goal of the season. Was that the most important, do you think?
Yeah, it's always nice to score, but most important of all, I mean, it was a great win for us. We knew we needed to win today to keep up. You know, I think we're back in 6th place now, and that's a great result for us.
Let's also bring Darren Anderton in here. Darren, well played today. You scored one and made one. How pleased were you with your own performance?
Yeah, I was quite pleased. The result was the main thing. Our last league game was against Villa and we lost that one, so it's nice to get back and get the right result, especially against Blackburn.
How much will this do for the side's confidence, do you think?
Yeah, like you say, I mean, we got back to winning ways at Sunderland last week, and I mean, we got back to winning ways in the Premier League today, so hopefully we can go on another good run.
And what about you, Darren? Do you feel that the side are now playing as well as you have been all season?
Yeah, I think that's got to be, you know, our best result of the season and our best performance. Yes, that's right.
All right, well, listen, the man of the match, the culling man of the match is Nick Barmby, but it was so close that Andy Gray reckons that you should split the bottle. So there you go, the pair of you. Well played today, well done.
Thanks.